welcome again, everyone, to tonight's Emotions class. I'm just going to introduce myself, and then Emily can introduce herself briefly. So I came into the oils about 3.5 years ago now, actually. And at the beginning, I was very much interested in the physical aspects of the essential oils. I have a science background, so I was a science teacher. So I loved hearing about how they could help, your body heal from certain ailments, especially viruses and things like that. But as I've started to use the oils, actually now I would say I use them more on a daily basis for emotions. So I'm very excited to share tonight about how the oils can help with emotions. And lovely Emily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, so hello everybody, I am Emily. I have to apologise, I have a little bit of the sniffles this evening, so I'm covered in On Guard essential oil, so I'm protected. Hopefully I'll be nipping it in the bud, but I am a bit sniffly. So yes, I'll introduce myself. I am a mum. I have 3 children as well, but I have 3 boys. I have Frankie, who's 7, Nikki, who's 4 on Friday, and baby Ziggy, who's 18 months. Again, it's kind of a similar story for me. I first came to the oils for the physical benefits, to look after my family, and from there it's led to more using them for their emotional qualities every single day. And it was funny, I just thought I'd share a story that quite recently we were going on our family holiday, and I packed all of my essential oils that I wanted, about 3 cases worth, to take with me in the car. And on the way there, it suddenly dawned on me. I thought, oh my goodness, I've forgotten my oils. And I felt filled with dread, actually. And at that point, I realised how much I really do rely on these oils every day for so many things. Because as a mother, they are such an extreme comfort to have, but everything for physical and emotional qualities and properties as well. So we're very, very much looking forward to sharing how you can use the oils this evening and emotional aromatherapy.
Thanks, Emma. People are saying that you're very quiet, so I could hear you fine, but then at the end you did go quiet, so just come into the computer.
Talk up a bit, yeah.
Talk up a bit and close, I think that's the thing. So thanks for that feedback, everyone. Excellent, thanks, Em. Okay, so just to clarify, so we're doing continued education classes. We're doing them once a month. We're doing the second Wednesday every month, and we'll be doing different topics, but we'll always be covering a little bit of the basics. So just to remind you what an essential oil is, because these classes are going to be covering different topics, but focusing on the essential oils and how they can help with these different aspects that we're going to be talking about, and in particular doTERRA's essential oils. So just briefly to remind everybody, I think you've all been to an intro class, that essential oils, they're the immune system of the plant. They're the most potent part of the plant, where all the immune system is concentrated, and they come from different parts of the plant, and we can use them to help our body heal. And they're actually 50 to 70 times stronger than the herb equivalent of the oil. So they're very, very powerful. So what makes doTERRA's essential oils different? Well, just a quick reminder. First of all, every single one of doTERRA's essential oils is sourced from its natural habitat, which makes a massive difference to the quality of the oil. And the bit I love about this as well is that doTERRA, as far as possible, they will source their essential oils from countries that really are struggling economically, so they can go in and really help with jobs as well, and to work in partnership with the farmers. So there's no forced growing here, there's no harvesting before the essential oils are completely ready. doTERRA work very well with nature through the farmers who have been doing this for years, and they form this beautiful partnership, which is where the farmers get a lot of loyalty towards doTERRA, and why more than 80% of doTERRA's essential oils are exclusive to doTERRA, and always will be, because these farmers have this exclusive partnership with doTERRA. So that's one of the reasons that makes doTERRA so different, is that they're sourced from their natural habitat. The other thing is that every single drop of doTERRA's essential oils is put through vigorous testing. Okay, not just a little bit of testing. doTERRA is the company we know of that does the most testing on their oils, and they're very transparent with this. So you can go in and see what the testing is. And this is how doTERRA's essential oils all have this grade on them, this certified pure therapeutic grade that's abbreviated as CPTG, and you'll find that on every single one of doTERRA's essential oil bottles. And that basically reassures you, us as the consumers, that this essential oil has been sourced from its natural habitat and is completely free of contaminants. And that's what the testing procedures enable us to see. So that's kind of why doTERRA's essential oils are so wonderful, and why we're having the physical effects from them that we're having, but also the emotional effects that we're going to be talking about today. So today's topic, emotions. So when I was creating this, I was thinking about all the emotions that we experience, and it was interesting that I mostly had negative emotions that were coming into my head. It was so easy to think of all the negative emotions. And I was trying to think, I could think of happy and, a few other really obvious good ones, but all the negative ones were just flooding in. I was thinking, no, I'm going to make myself, for every negative emotion, I've got to find a positive one. So I created this kind of slide with kind of a lot of the common emotions that we perhaps feel. So as human beings, we do have emotions, don't we? It's a day-to-day thing. Sometimes we don't even know why we're having this emotion. We can just wake up a certain way. Other times we're reacting to something, but we have all these emotions. And so it'd be lovely to just have happy emotions, but one by one, the negative emotions do kind of filter into our brains, don't they? And they start to affect us. And here they all come. And I'm sure at some points we've all felt these different kind of emotions. Now, what's interesting is, this is research done, that 90% of people they found react to a situation with a negative mindset. I don't know if you've caught yourself doing that. I like to think as a child, I was very, very positive, very optimistic. And even as a teenager and, young, before I got married and started having responsibilities, then I think it suddenly starts seeping in, and you can kind of almost wake up one day and suddenly realize you're responding quite negatively to things, or someone can perhaps point it out to you, which is almost very annoying, and that sends off another emotion. But the point is, we do as humans, we start to get into this habit perhaps of reacting negatively until it's almost so automatic we don't notice it, and that has a big effect on us, on our mind and body, which we'll be talking about. And we learn a lot of these negative habits in childhood, and they become imprinted in us and quite automatic. Now, I'm not going to talk about too much about this, but if we continue to have negative emotions, it's very hard for us to create positive emotions, because our body has almost forgotten how, in a summarized way. So scientifically, it's talking about receptors on your cells, but when we think about negative emotions a lot, our body just forgets how to be positive. That's a simple way of putting it. So just a little bit about how emotions affect our body physically then. So every time we have an emotion, it actually triggers a chemical reaction in our body. So every single emotion produces its own specific reaction in our body, and it's a chemical reaction that our body does automatically without us knowing about it. So we feel an emotion, our body responds with this chemical response, which then sends messages around our body, which can cause more emotion, but also it very interestingly affects us in a physical way. And that's what's really interesting. And there's lots and lots of research now, it's a long word on the slide, psychoneuroimmunology, that basically shows the research behind how our emotions are affecting ourselves physically. And this is really important. We hear a lot about the mind-body connection. It really is so close, really close. And the mind and body are both affecting each other in a very big way.
Okay, so yes, your body actually responds to the way that you think and you feel and you act. So poor emotional health can actually weaken your body and bring on various different ailments. And it can actually even weaken your body's immune system as well. So our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs and our attitude can actually affect our biological functioning. So what is your body telling you? And the mind-body connection was something that was looked into, spelled wrong there, connection, was something that was looked into. Can you hear me? I think you're muted, Bex.
Just a bit, speak a bit louder, please.
Louder, no problem. Yeah. So the mind-body connection was something that was looked into by Louise Hay, and she was actually an author. She wrote a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And it's absolutely fascinating how you can correspond the way that your body is feeling physically with your emotional health. So let's think a little bit about this. We're not going to touch on it too much because we've got a lot to cover tonight. But have you got a sore throat? This is something that I would often suffer with. It was my weakness because I sing and use my voice a lot. But a sore throat can actually mean that you're holding something back, or perhaps have a problem saying no, interestingly. So that's something to consider. What about a bad shoulder? Are you feeling like you have a lot of burdens or a lot on your shoulders? Are you carrying a lot of responsibility at the moment? This corresponds with that. How about constipation? Are you feeling stuck in your life? Or what about the opposite? What about diarrhea? You know, is life moving too quickly for you? So our gut, and obviously we know a lot now about the connection with our gut and the health of the rest of our body. And we know that there's an intrinsic link there between our gut and our emotions. And for me, I remember so well being a child, and if I was worried or concerned about something, I'd get a tummy ache, and it would be a worried, sick tummy sort of feeling. And that just goes to show you how powerful our emotions are with, you know, that how it manifests within our body, okay, and our physical state. So moving on, how can essential oils help? Let's go to the next slide, Bex. Okay, so what do we normally use? So these are some of the things that we might reach for that aren't necessarily going to help us. So obviously there's drugs and medication, alcohol, cigarettes, junk food, television. I think there's a few more coming as well. Are there some more pictures, Bex? I think if you click, there we go. Sometimes we turn to exercise and running water and things like this. Obviously, these are more positive things that we can turn to. But what we're trying to achieve here is that homeostasis, that balance, because we can reach for the things that might give us sort of synthetic or unrealistic highs, but then ultimately they will bring the lows as well. So what we're trying to maintain is that state of balance throughout all life, so we can sort of travel through life and navigate whatever life throws at us, but always remain on that same level. So some of these things that we reach for are not always the best things for us. What else can we use? Well, you'll be happy to know that essential oils are an amazing tool for helping to look after your emotional well-being. So in the webinar tonight, we're going to tell you about some of the oils that you can use and some of the resources that you can use to help you on your journey. So during our continued education classes, we're focusing a lot on the Essential Life book. It's a really lovely book. It's very visual. And there's a nice section on pages 336 and 343, or through 336 to 343. Then also there's a lovely app that you can get on your phone, which is called the Emotions app, okay? And it's part of the Daily Drop. And the Daily Drop is like a little snippet of information every day that you can learn about the oils and how to use them. And the Emotions app's great because you can actually put in how you're feeling on different levels, and it will tell you which oils you need on an emotional level. So that's a really, really great little tool to use. There's a couple of other lovely books here. The Emotions book will talk about the emotional qualities of all the oils, and they do all have their own emotional qualities. And The Fragrant Mind is another lovely book by Valerie Wormwood. That's a really nice book to have as well. And then the Emotions Wheel. So this is really nice because you can literally look up every positive emotion and every negative emotion. Bex has got it there. And travel out towards the outside of the wheel, and it will tell you what oils you can reach for. So there are some really, really lovely, fascinating tools that we could be using.
Okay. So just to show you, Emily said about the Essential Life book, it has like an emotional index in it.
Yeah.
So it tells you all the different emotions and what oils to use. So once again, you don't have to remember everything that we're telling you in this presentation, and we're going to give you a good kind of summary and an introduction into using the oils emotionally. But like, again, it's about empowering you to go and do your own research about your own particular emotions that you're trying to deal with. And like Emily said, there's all these resources there for you. So you've got a lot of help, which is wonderful. So why do essential oils help then? So this is a great picture just showing very simply the olfactory way of getting the oils into your system. And it's up through your nose, obviously, that's the extension of your brain. And it goes up through the olfactory nerve into your olfactory bulb, into the limbic system, which is your emotional part of your brain. And it contains different components. But interestingly, the amygdala, which is actually the part of your brain that deals with memory and a lot of your emotions, the only thing that affects it is actually smell. So it doesn't respond to words or even the written word. That part of your emotional brain actually only responds to smell. So we were talking before about how emotions are chemistry. Essential oils are chemistry too. So what happens is you smell that essential oil, it has an immediate effect pretty much because it goes straight up into your brain, causes a chemical reaction, and has an immediate effect on your emotions, which is quite incredible. So even though you're feeling an emotion, the essential oil can override that emotion. So it can literally help break those habits that you've had or negative responses and things like that. And just briefly, and this is why it's quite fascinating, I can't not share this. So 1 drop of essential oil contains that many molecules. It's tons, 40 million trillion to be exact. So if you work out how many cells you have in your body and divide it by that, so you can show you how many molecules 1 drop of essential oil supplies each one of your cells. So when you put on, you'll never look at it again the same, will you? When you put on 1 drop of essential oil, you are basically supplying every cell in your body with 40,000 molecules. Incredible. And what these molecules are doing is actually entering your cell and causing a chemical reaction and changing the way you're going to be responding to certain things. So that's the science behind emotions. That's why essential oils really can affect your emotions, because they can help change the chemistry. And so here, using essential oils, it's the most powerful way for affecting your mood is aromatically. So as we've talked about, breathing them in. You can put them on topically as well, and they go into your body and they will have an effect as well. But if you want to have that immediate emotional lift, the best way is by aromatically, either diffusing it, diffuse the essential oils, and literally just put 3 drops of your chosen oil into your diffuser and put that on, and that's going to be wonderful. And that's great for the whole family as well. So if you have someone that comes home in a bit of a grump or your children are a little bit moody, you can just kind of put the oil in the diffuser and lift everyone at the same time, which is just wonderful. The other thing is, I think Ems and I are both wearing our necklaces. Did you want to demonstrate, Ems?
Yes, why not? So This is a diffuser necklace, and you can get some lovely ones online. Mine's from Aroma Love London. Is that where yours is from, Bex?
It is, yes.
But there's lots of different sites that do some gorgeous ones. These are very nice quality. So literally what you would do is you open up your diffuser necklace, and you can actually choose the colour felt that you have inside to match your outfit. And you can choose your type of metal as well. And they're very sturdy. And then literally you would take your oil of choice. I'm actually going to choose On Guard because I'm a little bit sniffly, as I said. So that's going in there tonight. And also On Guard, interestingly, on an emotional level, protects you energetically as well. So you put a drop in, you shut it, and just one drop is so powerful. As Beck said, this will last for days before you need to replace it. And actually the felt pads you can put in the washing machine. So they're an amazing little thing to have. You can get the lava bracelets as well, or lava necklaces.
Yeah, wearing them all.
Oh, there we go.
Tonight.
But what I wanted to say was that, you know, our sense of smell is actually the most powerful sense that we have. And that's because in times of danger, we would often smell danger before we would see or we would hear it. And also, I think, you know, we've all experienced smelling an aroma and it instantly triggering a memory. For me, I often talk about being smelling vine-ripened tomatoes and being in my grandfather's greenhouse when I was a child. It instantly evokes that memory, and it just goes to show how powerful our smell is in connecting with our brain. So, yeah. Okay, so this is another nice wheel that we can be using, and it relates to an emotional aromatherapy kit that we're going to talk about in a little while. But the basis of this is that the different plant families can be used to evoke the emotions that we need. So the way that you can use this wheel, again, is that you start by looking at how you're feeling and the negative emotions you're feeling, and trace it out, and it will lead you to the plant family that you need. So you have citrus oils, which are very uplifting and energizing, and you have Motivate, which is a combination of peppermint and the citrus oils together. It's a fantastic Monday morning blend. And then you have Cheer. So this is very uplifting and energizing, which contains lemon, orange, lime, bergamot, grapefruit. Passion. This is a combination of your spices and your herbs and grasses, and it's sort of spicy and sultry. It's not just for passion as in passion, but also for passion for life and igniting that flame and that excitement within. It's a great oil to use if you're needing to be creative. Moving round on the wheel, we come to Forgive. Now, there was a study done recently by a doctor at the US convention, and she studied all the oils within this kit, and they were all shown to be very, very effective. However, Forgive was the oil that was shown to be one of the most effective oils on an emotional level for all emotional conditions, actually. I have to admit, it's not one of my favourites, as in the smell, but this oil really works. So it may be that you need to forgive yourself or forgive others, but it's a combination of your herbs and your grasses, and it's known as the renewing blend, okay?
That one is actually one of my favourites, Emily. So it's funny how everyone gets drawn to different oils, and on an emotional level, that's even more apparent than with the physical things. So do find, you know, what you're kind of drawn towards, and Forgive is one that I put on at least once a week. I think probably is I'm quite hard on myself. I'm quite self-critical, so I think that's a big thing for me. And smelling it really helps me to release those emotions. So I find it really effective.
Wonderful. And then Console. So this is a combination of trees and florals. And this is known as the comforting blend. It's a great oil if you're feeling sad or lonely, or I like to describe it as a comfort blanket. I had a lady come round, actually, she suffered a loss, and she was having problems expressing her emotions and crying, and she used the Console blend, and instantly she reacted and she cried, and those emotions came out, which is what needed to happen, because sometimes we keep these emotions within, and release is the best way. So that's a lovely, lovely blend. And then the last blend within this kit is a combination of florals and mints, and it's called Peace. And it really just does bring that sense of tranquility whenever it's used. So this is one that I like to diffuse before bedtime to promote a sort of tranquil environment in the house, and hopefully send my children off to a nice sleep with no interruptions. And it really does do that. It's a beautiful blend. So this is a really, really lovely combination, and I love the wheel, and I love how you can use it to work out exactly what you need.
Yeah, so as Emily said, you know, doTERRA put together these wonderful blends, and again, to make it easy for us. So the whole thing about doTERRA is they want to make these oils as accessible and as easy to use as possible. So which is why they've come up with these wonderful emotional blends, so you can just reach for the oil that you're kind of feeling in the moment. But also, as Em's mentioned, every single essential oil has an emotional side to it. So that's quite wonderful to see as well. That's why we put on these other little kind of subtitles up here that you can see with the mints and things like peppermint and melissa. You could just use them, you know, if you didn't have the emotional oils. Or sometimes I reach for the emotional oil, and sometimes it's one specific oil I'm after. So you can actually use a lot of the oils, well, all of the oils for emotions, and it's about finding the ones that you like. So just to give you some example there, those are the other oils that you could use to help with those different kind of emotions. Helichrysum is a favourite of mine, one of the things I love, and I find it really comforting as well. So, you know, with your essential oils, start experimenting, basically.
And that's the purpose of our classes. It's really to educate you and empower you to build this confidence. And you know, many of you have already got an account, or you've been to an introductory class. So with essential oils, they're so easy to use, and it's very much about following your instinct, but also feeling confident to try things and to experiment and work out what works best for you. However, yes, doTERRA have made it very easy for us as well, and created some blends. So, you know, that's just a bit simpler if you'd rather, you know, things done for you. So this kit is a lovely, lovely kit. It wasn't brought out initially. They brought it out last year, and it's one of their best-selling products. It's fantastic. Obviously, it's got the combinations of different oils. You've got the 6 different oils for all of your emotional needs, and it comes in a lovely box. And yeah, some of the oils within this kit are very expensive. You've got rose and jasmine and melissa in these blends. So, you know, the price is actually very, very good. So we've got the price there. It's £130 wholesale or £174 retail for this kit.
So here's some more of our favourites as well. So before the Emotions kit came out, but still I still love these. Again, like I said, I choose which one I am feeling in the moment. But these are the oils that when I first came into doTERRA that I used for the emotions, the emotional side. And so I just wanted to quickly kind of mention what you might want to use these oils for. So Balance is my all-time favourite. Absolutely love it. It's a very grounding blend. So if your thoughts are racing, and that's often, I find that, especially when I go to bed, you know, you go to lie down at bedtime and suddenly your brain decides to kick into gear. You're like, no, it starts planning your next week. Yeah, got something else agreeing there. So Balance is really good at kind of calming those thoughts and stopping those thoughts. And what I like to do is I like to take a drop, and here's my Balance here. I'm going to put some on, and just put it on my wrist like this, and rub my wrists together, and then just breathe them in. Another really good place to put an oil for emotions is behind your earlobes here. That's a really good access point to the brain as well, and just helps obviously to balance too, especially the balance oil. Putting on the back of your ears is a really good place. So it contains blue tansy, blue chamomile, spruce wood. So it's a very woody, earthy oil. Just lovely, and also good for stress, for helping to manage stress. Again, if you're feeling like crazy, like there's lots of stuff going on, it's one to kind of help just bring you back into balance. So that's a really lovely one, and very good for children as well, because I have 3 children, and yeah, helps a lot. And the next one I'll talk about,
I was just going to say, we have this one in a glass spray bottle by the front door. And we like to use it in times of stress, trying to get out the door with 3 children on the school run or something like that. And we just spritz it over our heads, and it instantly fills us with a sort of grounding strength. And everybody always comments on how lovely we smell on the school run as well.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is one of the nicest smelling ones. You know, some of the oils you use for their for what you get out of them, don't you? It's not so much the smell you're getting, but balance. Yeah, everyone seems to love the smell of balance. Yeah. So the next one is Elevation. Then, now Elevation is a very uplifting blend. It's got some beautiful and pretty expensive oils in it. So it's got ylang ylang, which is, you know, known for helping with depression and things like that. So it's very good for helping to lift your mood. It's also got Melissa, which is also very good for lifting your mood, and citrus oils as well, and sandalwood. So these are all oils that have been found to really elevate you, hence the name. So really it's to put on when you're feeling sad, you know, and you're just not feeling it that day. So you can put it on before you go out. Just really, again, I put it on my wrists, or also into a necklace as well, so you can kind of carry it around with you for longer. Seems to last a long time in the necklace, on the wrist, on the bracelet. Sorry.
Yes. I like to use this one as perfume.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really nice smelling perfume, and obviously perfumes unfortunately contain a lot of hormone disruptors. So you're far better to be using your essential oils instead.
Absolutely, and you know, chemicals as well. You know, not just hormone disruptors, but quite harsh chemicals. And often you're putting it on your neck, you know, it's going straight into your brain. So yeah, I don't wear perfumes anymore. I choose an essential oil. So Elevation is a great one for that. So the next one, Serenity, does what it says on the bottle. It's very serene. So it helps to kind of really calm you down. It's almost a step up from lavender. So it has lavender in it. But if you want to go for an extra calming effect, then this one's lovely, because it also contains some other oils. So it contains ylang ylang again. It contains Roman chamomile, and the chamomile oils are very good for calming, and cedarwood, and vetiver, which is very kind of grounding and calming oil. So they've put together this blend again to try and make it easy for us. So we don't have to put on 10 oils at the same time. We can just reach for the blend, and it's very good for calming. So people, if they're not having great effects with lavender for sleep, for example, and if lavender's not quite relaxing you, then Serenity is the one to try. It's really good. And again, great for children. Really nice one for children. And so good for stress as well. I didn't mention that. So the last one is Citrus Bliss. So all citrus oils are very energizing, very motivating, and just lift your mood as well. I don't know if you're aware, but there's a Vanderbilt study in America where they did a study in Vanderbilt Hospital where they diffused oils for 24 hours a day. And they did this for a 3-month period. And at the end of that 3 months, they found statistically very significant results where the stress of the doctors had greatly reduced, their ability to cope had really increased. So citrus oils are great for all those things. So helping you again manage stress, helping you to be able to function better, but just lifting you. And it's just a very nice smelling oil again, Citrus Bliss. It's got the citrus oils in it. This is also one of the oils for bereavement, so for grief. So if anyone's going through things like that, then this is the one to have. And similar to Emily, my mother-in-law had someone come around to her house and she put Citrus Bliss on her. She just lost her husband, and it just really helped to bring everything out for her. And so very powerful. Now I had to mention frankincense. We can't have an emotional class and not mention frankincense. It's one of the few oils that can actually physically pass into the brain. So it can actually go in physically and have amazing effects on the chemistry of the brain and the functioning of the brain. So for any severe conditions such as depression and anxiety, frankincense is really good for helping with that. And actually, you can put it on your wrists and smell it, but the best way to get it into your brain with frankincense is just to put a drop on the top of your mouth here, and it goes straight into your brain. So it's wonderful. Do you want to say something else?
Yes, I was going to say that frankincense is known as the oil of truth. So it's a great oil on an emotional level for finding that inner truth. It's actually a great oil for depression, but also addiction as well.
Excellent. Yeah, really good. And I will just mention one more. We don't want to throw too much on you, but there's the Clary Calm blend here that I haven't got on the slide. It's the women's blend. If you haven't tried this, women, and if you suffer from hormonal moods, then please get some and try some. It does wonders. It's quite incredible. It really helps with those kind of emotions. And again, just on your wrist and breathing it in is the best way. So we're just going to focus a little bit on anxiety and depression, because you may have noticed that we have quite a lot of it in the UK, and not just in the UK but in the world. It's very common. In fact, it's the fastest kind of growing mental illness in the UK, and it says here 3.7 million more prescriptions were given out for antidepressants in 2016 and 2015, so that's a huge increase. And also it's affecting children as well, which is really worrying. So this is something, take a picture of this screen if you'd like to, because it's one of the things that's recommended for somebody that's got, mild depression. This is for. So again, you can see frankincense is there, balance is there, serenity is there, and the citrus oils as well. So the oils can really help with these kind of conditions. And not just the oils. So you may know about doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is an incredible supplement. When we teach classes, we really are focusing on wellness. It's not just about having an essential oil. We encourage people to sleep well, to go and get exercise, to take time out. But nutrition is absolutely key. And unfortunately, we're not getting the nutrition, most of us, that we need. And this affects us emotionally as well as physically. So the Lifelong Vitality Pack provides us with vitamins and minerals, fish oils, essential oils as well, including frankincense, that help to give our body what it needs to be able to be in balance. And just quickly with myself, we're going to introduce someone in a second, but when I first got into the oils, I was suffering from anxiety after having my third child and also severe tiredness. And so I started taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack for tiredness. And 2 weeks later, my anxiety had completely gone. I woke up and my anxiety had completely gone. And that to me was completely life-changing. And I'm forever thankful for this. And so I can't share enough about how amazing these are for both physical and mental health. But I'd like to introduce our friend Katie, who has had personal experience with both anxiety and depression and has used the oils as well as other things to help. So she just wants to share a little bit. If Katie can just unmute yourself, please, Katie.
Well, thank you for asking me to talk tonight. It is a subject I'm really passionate about because this time last year I discovered the oils, started using them, but prior to that, that summer I was in a very, very bad way, and I'd actually been doing, for various reasons, things that amounted over time, and I found myself feeling very depressed, and I had been doing some therapy, and the therapy just really made me 10 times worse, and I really, really hit rock bottom. But I am a fighter, and I pulled myself out of it, and I did it in a very natural way. So I jacked in the therapy, and I did a cleanse. We were talking about how what we eat is so important, and the gut and the brain is so linked. And so cutting out things like coffee, sugar, alcohol, anything that made me go up and down, I needed to level out. And at the time, because I was so tormented, I was drinking a lot. I was looking for escapism. So I cut out all of that stuff and coffee. I can't have one coffee. And I've recently introduced it back and I thought I was okay with it, but I can't. It's really important that we stay level. And that's another reason, another place where the Long Life Vitality is great, because you get that wonderful energy from it, and vitality, it does give vitality. So that has been paramount too. But yeah, having a really healthy diet, cutting out stimulants of any sort, and then just using the oils. I've just been blown away with how the oils have helped me manage my emotions. For a healing process, we do need to let our emotions come up. You know, we shouldn't be suppressing our emotions, but managing them, we do need to be able to manage them, and the oils are just a brilliant way to do that. And I mean, I was suffering with things like grief, and my anxiety was very, I always kept doing. I wasn't sort of a person that would be at home feeling sorry for myself. It was always going, but I used to end up feeling very, very high by the end of the day, and then kind of get quite low. And so things for me like vetiver is probably my number one favorite oil. Amazing for anyone that's got anxiety. It's very, very, very grounding. And often if you've got anxiety and depression, you don't sleep very well. And vetiver for me has been the one that has really transformed my sleep. I mean, I don't use it so much now because I don't need to, but it's there, and I find vetiver has been brilliant. The citrus oils, obviously, as Bex was saying, they've done studies on the citrus oils and they're great for uplifting mood. I particularly love bergamot. It's the oil of self-acceptance. And interestingly, again, the emotional aromatherapy kit, I was very drawn to peace because peace contains things like frankincense. Frankincense is amazing for calming, for slowing everything down, for just feeling more peaceful. I'm a yoga teacher, so I like to use it a lot before yoga, and for that, just that drawing in, because often our mind's just going like this, and we just sometimes need to, that's the kind of the practice of yoga is being in yoga is stopping the fluctuations of the mind. And so the oils can be really good at reminding us to do that. Breathe is another great one. Sometimes we forget to breathe. You can probably hear me now. I speak quite fast and I'm a bit like this, and I get quite spun out. So breathing in that breathe, and just sitting and reminding ourselves to take full, complete breaths and going back to the breath. That's what we're doing in yoga, and that's really healing and calming. And you know, sometimes when we've had a crazy day, life gets busy, doesn't it? And that sometimes reminds me just to have give myself some time. You can use the oils as an anchor. By that I mean using a smell for a time that feels very happy, you know, a happy time. And so when you smell that smell, it reminds you of that happy time. That's powerful. And interestingly as well, forgive. I didn't like forgive either, but there was a habitual thing that I kept on doing, which was very destructive. And I kept on doing it. And the last time I did it, somebody really let me down and I got very upset. And I came home and I used forgive, and oh my goodness, it really works. And I didn't like the smell of it at all, but it really did. And you know what? I never did that thing ever again, and I haven't done that thing ever again. And so yeah, and today I've been using cheer. I don't think I've used cheer before, but you find different things. But I just say also go with your nose, because there are certain oils that I'm drawn to, things like bergamot and cedarwood and Douglas fir. That's my blend when I'm feeling a bit sad. That's my blend that I use when I'm grieving, because I've also gone through a phase of grieving my grandpa. And so every time I diffuse that, I immediately feel happy and content. So yeah, I could go on and on and on, but
wonderful, Katie. That's perfect. Thank you so much. That's incredible experience. Thanks for sharing. That's very personal.
I just wanted to say, I think the way that Katie speaks is just so open and from her heart, such wisdom, and really, really grateful to have you share such, you know, what a lot of people wouldn't share, and it's bang on. It makes total sense, and we're very lucky.
Well, do you know, as you say, it's mental health is such a big problem, and you know, people don't talk about it. And So I think it's really important that we do talk about it, because so many people go through it and people are ashamed of it. And, you know, it's that very English thing, isn't it, of not showing our emotions. And so I you know, I can talk all day about this because I do feel passionate about it. So thank you for asking me.
You're very, very inspiring. Very inspiring.
You. Love you.
So yes, as Katie said, affirmations are something that you can be using, and anchors and visualizations. So affirmations are positive, specific statements that help you to overcome this self-sabotage and negative thinking. So they can help you to visualize and to believe in what you are affirming to yourself. So affirmations work really nicely alongside visualization. And affirmations, the way that you use them, and here there are some nice examples here, are that they are always in the present tense, and the power is in the repetition. You don't just say it once, you say it again and again. And they're more effective when they're said with thought or with feeling. So these are some really, really lovely examples. I give myself permission to be prosperous. I am worthy of my dreams. I welcome miracles into my life. I have the ability to overcome any challenge life gives me. I am strong. I can do this. I believe in myself. I am doing this. So positive. And, you know, this really, really helps with your, you know, the way that you're feeling on an emotional level. Something else that you can be implementing is tapping or anchoring. Okay, so tapping or EFT is so easy to do. It's known as the emotional freedom technique. And anyone can apply it to any issue, and it's a way to clear old traumas and welcome new challenges with a healthy, productive attitude. And we're using our fingers rather than needles used in acupuncture to target the energy meridians, okay, interestingly. So anchoring, as Katie mentioned, is another way of controlling your emotions. And this technique comes from NLP, which is known as neuro-linguistic programming. So what we're doing here is we're creating an association with something to take you to a happier emotional state. Now, some people may use music, some people use pictures, some people use taste. But of course, we can use smell as an anchor. So what we're doing is we're anchoring ourselves in a happier emotional state. And what's great here is that you can actually rewire your brain and your chemistry if you're feeling like you're slipping into these negative emotional habits. And you can actually find your own anchors that work for you by using them repetitively in this way.
Okay, so hopefully we've given you quite a few tools now, what you can do to help with your emotions. And yes, like we're saying, with everything with the affirmations as well. And I know someone put a comment on chat that using the oils with the affirmations. So use the oils all the time alongside these things. And be open about your emotions. They're not a weakness, you know, as we were saying, it's okay to have emotions. So this is something that can actually empower you as well, is to help you to work out which essential oils are best for you, because we do all have different chemistries. We will all respond to essential oils slightly differently, and sometimes completely differently to somebody else. And it's funny, isn't it? I'm quite a busy person as well, completely busy, and I put these emotional oils, I'm feeling an emotion, I'll just chuck a few on and then rush off on my day. And it's hard to really notice sometimes which one's doing it and how they're really helping, because I'm so busy and I don't really take the time to really focus on how I'm feeling. So something that's really quite good, and something I would suggest with emotions, is to try and focus on how these essential oils are affecting you and start to build up an emotional library, because they're a bit different than with the physical ones that you see quite clearly, don't you? It's quite black and white, whereas emotions, it's sometimes a bit harder to tell which ones are really, really helping. So what you can do is you could start perhaps with your 3 favorite ones. So like Katie said, find out which ones, you know, you're drawn to and that smell nice to you, and you've looked it up on the wheel and you found that's what addresses that particular emotion in the textbook. You know, that's what it's telling you it does. And then put one oil on at a time, and get maybe a little emotional book, nice book for yourself, and write that oil on there, and then just focus within 2 hours, because the essential oils generally are in our body for 2 hours and then they've left. So you should feel the effects, within 2 hours. So try and focus a little bit on how you're feeling, whereabouts you feel that essential oil. Focus on your thoughts. Are your thoughts feeling clearer, more relaxed? Do you feel comfortable, or are you feeling vulnerable still? So really kind of pay attention, and you can start to make little notes and start to build up that emotional library for you, really, and find out the key oils that really help with your different emotions. So that, I think, is quite empowering.
Okay, so we our continued education series last week was on babies and children. So we're not going to go into this too much tonight, but children experience some big feelings, and they don't actually always understand what these big feelings that they're having are. So what we need to help them with is acknowledging, accepting, and allowing these big feelings, and helping them along with ways that they can be dealing with them. So we wanted to mention the touch kit here, because this actually is the same 6 emotional oils that we mentioned from the emotional aromatherapy kit, but they're in a touch formula. So that means that they've been pre-diluted and are perfect for anybody with sensitive skin or for children. So this is a great kit that you can have to take out and about with you. You don't need to be diluting them yourselves. Wonderful kit. I love my Motivate Touch. I use that every day. And then we mentioned a couple of books last week that are really nice to be using. Children are so drawn to smell, and they're often very intuitive with what they actually need and drawn to what they need. And touch is so powerful and creates such a bonding experience as well. And these books are really lovely extra resources that you can be working through with your children. The Emotionary book talks about what feelings are through the eyes of a child and how they can explain and identify these different feelings and thoughts. And the Bare Essentials talks about how you can use smell to make you feel better. So really lovely ideas. So here are some nice DIY tips. We like to finish our emotional classes with some DIY recipes. Now, what you can be doing to create your own blend is buying roller balls. And you buy a roller ball, it comes a bit like this, and then you can fill it up with your own combination of oils depending on what you need. Now, we buy our glassware from Essential Oil Supplies, an amazing company with some dear friends of ours that run it. So they're great people, but also you can get glassware from Baldwin's of London as well. And what you would be doing is using your doTERRA fractionated coconut oil. So when I make up a roller ball myself or for my children, I will first of all add the oil to the bottom of the roller ball, however many drops of the essential oil I need, and then I will top up with the fractionated coconut oil, and then find a sticker and stick that on the top, and then voila, you have your own emotional blends. And what I quite like to do as well is, if I'm not sure if a combination of oils will work well together, is I'll just take the tops off the bottles and smell them together and see if that works. So again, it's about experimenting and seeing what works for you and finding your way. So here are some nice ideas of DIY blends that you might like to take some pictures of. So you've got the Self-Esteem blend, Ylang Ylang, Bergamot, Vetiver, Sandalwood, and then top up with fractionated coconut. The Anger blend, Spikenard, Roman Chamomile, and Bergamot, and then top up with fractionated coconut oil. Anxiety blend, There are different anxiety blends that I found, but I particularly like this combination. But again, it's about finding the combination that works for you. So clary sage, lavender and Roman chamomile, and topping up with fractionated coconut oil. Got a few more coming up now. So we've got the irritability blend, which we could all use occasionally. So cypress, coriander and lavender, topped up with fractionated coconut oil. These are for a 10ml bottle, incidentally. That's a good question, Michelle. Mental fatigue blend, basil and lemon. So I shall be trying this one. I haven't personally tried that one myself, but sometimes, you know, when we lead busy lives, we've got lots going on, our oils can be a wonderful comfort to reach for. The depression blend that I found is clary sage, lavender and bergamot. And then Frankie's happy oil. So this is my son, Frankie. He created his own happy oil to take to school with him. And in that, we chose the combination ourselves. It was bergamot, wild orange, frankincense and lime. So quite a lot of the citrus oils there for uplifting the mood, and frankincense, which is obviously a great oil for the brain. And then again, topped up with fractionated coconut oil. Now, you know, these guidelines can be used as a skeleton or a shell. And again, it's very much about listening to your body, because if you feel that, you know, you could use a bit more oil in your roller ball, then you could add a bit more oil and less of the carrier. Or if you're particularly sensitive, you might want to, you know, use a bit less of the essential oil and use more of the carrier. So the guidelines here are quite a nice sort of shell, and then it's about listening to your body and feeling your way.
Excellent. And then also chocolate, I think, is a very important emotional thing to have on hand. You know, we talked about oils and good food, but you know, sometimes it just takes a bit of chocolate, doesn't it? So this is a healthy recipe for you. So you can have a dairy, wheat, refined sugar-free chocolate. That's really delicious, and you can add whatever essential oil you want to. So we add peppermint, that's my favorite one to have in the chocolate, but wild orange is lovely in it as well, and cinnamon. You can do lavender, ginger, even On Guard, some Christmas spice chocolates. So just kind of play around as well with that. But yes, feel free to take a picture of that if you'd like to. It's a really lovely chocolate, and it freezes really well, so you can make bulk batches. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of our emotional presentation. I'm just going to briefly explain this because those of you that have an account with doTERRA have the opportunity to get your oils for even cheaper than just 25% off. So with your wholesale account, you get 25% off now every time you purchase the oils. But doTERRA have produced this very generous loyalty rewards program that works a bit like a Tesco Club card. So every time you spend, you can actually collect points. So it makes sense if you're going to be buying something each month, which often you kind of start to do as you start using the oils and also discovering some of the other things like the cleaning products that help to replace the chemicals in your home. And then, of course, we've explained some of the emotional oils. You know, there are so many things that you can use in doTERRA to help have a cleaner kind of lifestyle that it's very easy to spend something each month. And so if you are doing that, then please make sure you are on this loyalty rewards program so that you're not missing out on getting free products and extra points. Because every time you spend 50 PV, which is about £38, it's doTERRA's kind of currency where every product has a PV value to it. So if you find yourself spending 50 PV in a month and you do it through the loyalty rewards program, then you will automatically get 10% back in points. So on top of the 25% you're already getting off for your oils, you will automatically get 10% back in points that will suddenly appear in your back office a month later. So it's a month delay, just so you know. And then once you've done that for 3 months, and it doesn't have to be consecutive months, you'll then jump up to the next bracket. So you'll get 15%, and then so on until after 13 months of doing that. And again, it doesn't have to be consecutive months. You will get 30% back in product points, which actually makes a huge difference and makes the oils a lot more affordable. So I just want to make you all aware of that. Something else, as you can see on the screen, there's other offers as well. So every month, doTERRA do an offer of the month, and it's always an oil or, you know, something. It's usually an oil. And this month, for example, you get a free On Guard, a 5 ml bottle of On Guard, if you spend 125 PV that month, as long as it's before the 15th of the month. So the Loyalty Rewards program, you know, come out with other deals as well. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. If you do want to get on the Loyalty Rewards program and you don't know quite how to do it, then you can call customer services or speak to the person who first introduced you to the oils, and they can help you to do that. But it's just easy on your back office. You can access that. So yeah, so that's that. So we just wanted to spend now, we're going to spend a few minutes answering any questions that people have on the emotions. So I'll just stop sharing. And then, so we'll go through the chat first of all, but feel free to ask any more questions. I know there are a few things that came up. And then after the questions, so in about 10 minutes, we're going to do a little 10-minute intro to the business for anybody that wants to learn a little bit how you can make money with doTERRA, and whether it's just to pay for your oils each month, so to fund your own doTERRA addiction, or to actually grow a big business in doTERRA. So you can do it on any scale, but we'll be talking about that so you just know a little bit about what that is in about 10 minutes.
So yeah, you don't have to stay on if you don't want to, but if you do want to learn, stay on and we'll tell you about how it works.
Okay, so we had some good comments. Thank you, Katie, here, it says. And there was a question, Katie, for you first. Let me just go back to it. Where is it then? About what to put on. Where do you put on the oils before yoga? Where's your best place to put on the oils?
I normally put it over my heart. I like having it because then you can smell it, but there's something really lovely about putting it on the heart chakra. So yes, that's normally where I frankincense is usually the oil that I use before yoga. It just really helps. I mean, it smells like church, doesn't it? And it's just that whatever your spiritual practice is, it's just that brings you into that point of kind of reflection. And yeah, that's what I do the most. And sometimes balance on the feet is nice as well for grounding. I mean, I'm someone that always needs grounding, so generally I need rooting down. Some people who are more kapha, who are more slow and lethargic, whose practice needs to be faster, probably needs mints and citrus, things that are more uplifting, and then but breathing them in, I guess. Yeah, but heart I like.
I like that. That's lovely. Thanks, Katie. Okay, so we had, can you use these on the children's skin too, or do you need a carrier oil? I think Emily answered that. So yes, you definitely need a carrier oil always with these oils. Apart from the touch oils, you don't need to use a carrier oil with them. Yeah, so we always suggest using it with carrier oil. Yes, the doctor study that I was talking about the study that was carried out in Vanderbilt Hospital, you can actually just Google it. It's really easy. Just do Vanderbilt doTERRA Vanderbilt, put it into Google, and the study will come up there. It's very well.
I just wanted to add as well, we spoke a lot about this last week, but when you're using the oils with children, the soles of the feet is a great place to use them, because the skin's thicker and the soles of the feet have larger pores as well. So the oil really does penetrate into the blood system, and that's a great place. Obviously, when we're using the oils for our emotions, we do need to be able to smell them as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ems. Jude says, you've already been using the oils for a few days and it has massively improved your anxiety. That's fab. Did you want to share which oils you were using? Was it the same ones we have mentioned, Jude, if you're still on? It'd be lovely to hear which oils you're using. We'll see in a sec. Yeah, Affirmations great when you're putting the oils on, yes. Oh, there. Well, Katie's already replied. Sorry, Katie. Just seen that. Oh, that massage sounds nice. Yeah, I want one. Where do we get one of those?
You have to do it on yourself.
Oh, do you?
No, you could actually get Nathan to do it. No, you can, but yeah. But it has to be gentle. It's not meant to be a vigorous massage. It's meant to be very gentle. And you have to warm the sesame oil, and then you have to keep it on, meditate for 40 minutes.
Flipping heck. Not sleep. I can't sleep there. That doesn't count.
No, you're meant to wash it off, actually. Afterwards, you're meant to have a bath or a shower. But I sometimes just do a half leg before bed and add vetiver, and it's really nice. It really helps for a good night's sleep.
Wow, I'll have to look that up. Never heard of that. Thanks, Katie.
Then I
Ayurvedic thing.
Oh, I love Ayurveda. Okay, can you use other carrier oils? Yes, you absolutely can. Coconut oil is the one that doTERRA recommend because they found it's the oil that best complements the chemistry of the oils. So that's the best one that we recommend. But you can use other oils. Do you want to say something else on that?
Yes, I was going to say it's quite a light oil, the coconut oil, and also obviously we know it's tested to the same high standard, so it's not going to react with any of the oils, and we know it's got no traces of mold or fungus or anything like that. It's not going to go rancid. But yeah, I mean, sometimes if I'm using an oil on my face, I'll use a thicker oil sometimes because my skin can be a bit dry. But the coconut oil is a good oil for children, actually, because it's quite nice and light.
Perfect. Thanks, Ems. Yes, so they're asking if they can use this PowerPoint. Absolutely, yes. So this is our continued education classes are for everybody. So customers, mainly customers, and people who are also doing the business. So anyone that's doing the business and would like to use this, we'll be putting it on our business Facebook pages. So you'll be able to get access to these PowerPoints and use them. That's what we want you to do with them. So absolutely. Can you use Melaleuca straight onto acne? Do you want to answer that one, Ems?
Straight onto acne. Well, again, it very much depends on your own skin sensitivity. Some people do use Melaleuca and they're fine with it, but using an oil on your face is quite a sensitive place. Now, with acne, a carrier oil isn't always the best thing because it can make the skin more greasy. So what I've suggested with acne before is running a basin of water or putting cool water into a bowl and then adding some Melaleuca and lavender and then mixing it sort of round and using a flannel to dab your face down after you've washed your face. And that's kind of very astringent. So that's what I would suggest. But again, listen to your body, see how it feels. If you apply an oil to your skin and it feels a bit, hot or sensitive, then that would imply that that's a bit too strong for you. And then you might, need to think of another way of using it or dilute further.
That's great. Thanks, Emily. And then another question was, what is the dilution ratio for children?
So for children, for my children, well, a starting point would be sort of 1 to 2 drops in 1 to 2 tablespoons of carrier oil. Now, my children, I'm their mum, I know what works well with them and what I'm happy with. 1 to 2 drops in 2 tablespoons of oil isn't enough for us. It doesn't feel like it's enough essential oil. So I, with my children, would tend to do 1 to 2 drops in a teaspoon to a tablespoon of carrier oil, depending on the oil, obviously, because some oils are hotter than others. But, that's a very rough guide. 1 to 2 drops in a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of carrier oil. And listening and doing what you feel comfortable with as a mother and listening to that maternal instinct.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, this is to John's better half, Wendy. So you're asking about the Himalayan salt. So Himalayan salt is pure salt, so it's the healthiest type of salt you can get, whereas table salt basically has all the good stuff taken out. So yeah, definitely use Himalayan salt if you can. And where do you get it from? I get it from my local health food shop. You can get it online. Yeah. Okay, lovely. Good. Well, I think that's the end of the question. Anyone got any more questions at all?
I just want to say something that I have a lot of gut problems, right? I suffer with H. pylori. I keep on getting attacks and I just cannot find a treatment. So I'm completely gluten and dairy free.
Okay.
But the last 4 months, I cut out soya milk completely. Mm-hmm. And I now realize that the soya milk is actually giving me such stomach inflammation and stomach pains. So I've changed to coconut milk. It's the Coco brand. You buy it from Tesco. It's spelled Koko.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant and
I like that.
Helped me with my sinuses. That's all cleared up. So that soya milk that's caused me so much stomach inflammation. I mean, honestly, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, the food we eat is so important, and soya is so processed. You know, we don't.
Yes.
Again, it's educating people, isn't it, about food?
People turn to soya because they think it's actually a healthier alternative, but yeah, unfortunately, it's got hormone disruptors in it as well, and it's can cause inflammation in the body. But that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Elsie.
Yeah, because that inflammation goes everywhere in your body, everywhere, your joints, your sinuses.
It does.
Just about everywhere, and and it takes forever.
I would exactly, Elsie, it's exactly right. I would talk to Lorna or Emily or someone about the gut cleanse that doTERRA do. I would suggest perhaps doing that, getting those oregano capsules into your gut.
And I'm going to my daughter, she's a doctor in Chinese medicine.
Oh, amazing. Okay, cool.
I only use the traditional Chinese medicines. I don't use any Western medicine. So I'll be getting all my acupuncture and all those treatments next month.
Amazing. Well, fab, you're in good hands.
Going for 5 weeks.
Jude runs a gluten-free and vegan catering business. Hello, Jude. Can you put your email address on the quiz so we can all bombard you after this presentation, please?
Oh, hi, Jude.
What's your company, Jude? That's what we want to know. That's amazing.
Nourish, isn't it? Nourish.
I
think she's called Nourish. Yeah, Nourish.
It's called Nourish. Amazing.
It looks amazing. It does look amazing.
Oh, love it. Make vegan treats. Oh, amazing. Oh, look at this. Amazing. We need to have a live one so we can all bring our food together and eat all this healthy food.
I actually only eat autoimmune foods from Mickey Trescott. I don't know if you know her book. Mickey Trescott, the autoimmune paleo, the autoimmune protocol diet. I cook from her book all the time.
Lovely.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow. Some lovely books out there, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. So, for anybody who's interested in staying on, we love the oils. We're very, very passionate about the oils. But also, with doTERRA, most people are just customers that love and use the oils themselves and benefit from them. But then there is also an opportunity to, if you're wanting to, take this to another level and help other people and to benefit yourself in a huge sense of fulfillment from being able to do that, but also on a financial level as well. You also have the ability then to help other people to do the same. So as well as being passionate about the oils, we are also very passionate about the business because I've seen how it's changed my life and I'm passionate about doing that for others as well. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about why the doTERRA business is very different to some other network marketing businesses. So Bex is going to tell you a little bit firstly about why, and obviously a lot of you know why because you love yours already.
Thanks, Hems. Yeah, exactly. We are very passionate about this business. We came into it for the oils and the business as well, but the business now is just so exciting. And because we are helping people both financially, but also through this amazing product. So why the doTERRA business has to be the number one thing is because the product is absolutely incredible, as you're all experiencing. It's the only essential oil that is this standard. So it's certified pure therapeutic grade. And although that is doTERRA's own self-standardization, what that means is just the quality of these oils are incredible because of the testing they do. And so there's no competition, if you like. There's nothing else out there. It's a very unique product and it kind of sells itself. So as well as this being something so wonderful that we're helping people, so every time we share this as we're building our business, we're helping people, we're educating them, and we're helping them to take more power and more control over their own health, which is just incredible. So it's wonderful.
And also, we are a product-based business. So when it comes to some other companies, often other companies will look at the business first. We don't do that really with doTERRA. We're about the product, and it's the product that sells itself. I personally never saw myself doing this sort of thing, but I was just so drawn to the oils initially. And that is what happens. And actually, we do have a retention rate of 65% with doTERRA. So that means that 65% of people buy the oils again in their first 3 months, and 80% of people buy them again in their first year, in comparison to the network marketing average of just 13%. So that speaks volumes. It just shows that, you know, it's all about the product. People love the product, and once they start using it, they don't want to look back. They want to buy it again and again because it helps them, and that's the thing. So you don't have to be that salesperson, because what you're doing is giving them a gift.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's an interesting fact is that more than 90% of people in doTERRA are customers. So it does show that, yes, it is the product that really is drawing most people in. Having said that, though, there are people now and before who do come in to doTERRA because of the business too, and then fall in love with the products. You can't help falling in love with the products. So the second thing that's incredible about the doTERRA business is the company, and then also the support that you get in this business. So doTERRA was built from the heart. You know, I really believe in, don't get me wrong, the core of the company, they're very experienced. They know what they're doing. They're very good business people as well. But their ethos is based on helping people, just like we kind of explained. That's the purpose of doTERRA, and why they first started up really was to help people and get these essential oils into as many homes as possible so they can empower people. Now, because they are also very business savvy, one thing they've been able to do is they have created this $2 billion business now, which grew to $2 billion, you know, so very quickly. They're the fastest growing network marketing company in the world, and they're completely debt free, which in terms of a business perspective, if you're thinking about doing a business with doTERRA, that's very important, because it's showing you that the doTERRA business is very stable, and you're building a business on a very stable foundation that you can trust in. And it's not going to go anywhere. So that's incredible, and that goes along with the ethos of the owners as well. You know, they all at the beginning didn't want to borrow any money, so they all remortgaged their homes and didn't take any salary for the first year, because they wanted it to be a stable, debt-free company.
And within our team, we have so much support. Within doTERRA, it's one big family, but certainly within our team, we do have something really special. And we're sort of one with corporate and with the founders, and everybody, from the people that are creating the oils to the people that are sharing them to the people that are using them. It's all built on this same foundation of love and doing what's right and giving back to others. And that is something that's very, very special about doTERRA.
Absolutely. And also it's quite nice to know that behind these lovely products there's a lot of science too. You know, I for one like that angle, that it's a company that takes what they're doing very seriously, and they're putting the most research into essential oils than anyone's ever done before, and coming up with all this wonderful research that backs up what we're then sharing with other people. So as Emily said, the support we have of doTERRA as a big company is wonderful, that they have our backs basically, and we can rely completely on them. But at the same time, you know, the teams within doTERRA, we're all about looking after each other and helping each other be successful, which is wonderful.
Yes, and the other thing is it's very easy to share the oils. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have any qualifications. Rebecca, you know, was a scientist before. I am a mother. I'm a mother of 3 children, and you know, I've been very successful with doTERRA, and I've loved the journey every step of the way. So, you know, don't worry if you feel like you don't have enough knowledge, because we get so much support every step of the way. So you literally can start sharing them in whatever situation you are in your life, and you can literally incorporate doTERRA into your life in whichever way you want it to be part of it.
Absolutely. So the third thing, and certainly not the least, and for some people this will definitely be the first, and that's fine too, is the financial benefit that you get from doTERRA. So the thing that really excited me once I finally understood it, because I didn't really know what a network marketing company was at the beginning, is the fact that with doTERRA you have the opportunity to build a business that then gives you rewards for the rest of your life passively, which is the really incredible part. Because, you know, I've done jobs where you're working for a salary, aren't you? And you work really hard and you perhaps get a tiny bit of a salary up, you know, bonus, that actually doesn't really reflect your hard work most of the time. Whereas in doTERRA, what you put in is what you get out. And, you know, we put in a lot of work at the beginning, but now we're getting the benefits and we're not having to work as hard, you know, and we're building a future where I do want to create that time freedom for myself, where I can spend time with my children, I can choose what I want to do with my time, I can do charity work, I can focus on helping others with nutrition, that's one of my passions, and not have to worry about the income. So that's the wonderful thing about doTERRA, is it creates passive income, where, you know, you set it up at the beginning and then it continues to increase without you having to do very much in the end.
And in comparison to other network marketing models, the exciting thing about it is as you develop a bigger organization, doTERRA pays you a higher amount of commission over the larger area of your organization. So if you imagine it to be like a tree with the bigger area at the bottom, doTERRA actually pays the largest amount of commission to that area, which is switched with other network marketing models. But that makes it very, very exciting and very rewarding. And this is certainly something that we're experiencing.
Absolutely, it is. You know, we've done some research since joining doTERRA, and it's the most generous compensation plan we've come across, which is quite lovely. And so just to give you an idea, if I can click to the next slide. As Emily mentioned at the beginning, you know, you can really do this at any level you want. So lots of people really just want to casually share the oils and pay for their own oils, you know, so use it as a way to get enough money to fund their own doTERRA oil collection, which is wonderful, and that's fine, and there's a place for you. If you're someone that wants to, you know, supplement your income, to put in a little bit more effort and create an income that's supplementing your income, then there's a place for you as well. But if you're someone that wants to go for it and really replace your income eventually and beyond, then there's a place for you. So really there's a place for anybody who wants to do this business. And what's wonderful is you get to choose what you want to do. You're your own boss, and then you reach out to your team and they'll, you know, will support you as much or as little as you would like, and with your own kind of aspirations, really. There's no one telling you what to do.
So when I first saw this chart, because this is something that Rebecca and Nathan put together with the average earnings in the UK, when I first saw this chart, I didn't really believe it. And I looked at some of those figures at the bottom with Presidential Diamond and Blue Diamond, and I must admit, I thought, oh, whatever. That can't be real. There's got to be something. There's a catch. But I'd be quite happy to earn between, you know, £200 and £500 a month as a premier at the top. That would be quite nice. And let's just see how it goes. And I was a very, very busy mum. We had 2 other jobs, 3 children, a dog, and then we moved house. So we didn't have much time at all for doTERRA. But as soon as I started, I realized the potential, and I saw how magnetic and attractive the oils were and how people were just drawn to them. And it started to happen very quickly. And then now Bex and actually ourselves as well recently have just reached the rank of Blue Diamond, which you can see down at the bottom on the left. And these figures are totally realistic. And I never thought I would see that happening in 2 years, you know, like it's crazy. And this is why we are passionate about it, because it's changed our lives and we're passionate about doing the same for others.
Absolutely. And it's incredible. I mean, Emily's done it at a really fast speed, and you can do it at that speed. You absolutely can. And that's what's, you know, these are real figures, because we were the same. We were, not very believing the figures at all. And that as we've gone through, we're like, wow, doTERRA, this is real. And, you know, we've built the belief again in the company, and now we get so excited about helping others achieve whatever they want, whether it is that £500 a month that Emily's saying, or whether they want to go, you know, all the way and start experiencing complete financial freedom, which is, it's just wonderful. And it's completely changed our life. You know, we were in a lot of debt, and it seemed like we were getting further and further away from our dreams, actually. And doTERRA came along at a great time for us. It was a very busy time, and we did sacrifice, but it's just incredible now what the benefits we're getting. And so really, sort of, this is kind of the doTERRA business in a summary, and it's just about sharing the oils and educating people about using the products, and you get paid for doing it. That's basically what it is in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I think, you know, after our presentation this evening, which is talking about emotions, and with a realization of how many people these days are suffering with anxiety and depression, many people caught up in jobs that they have no passion for, but having to grind away constantly just to earn enough money to pay the bills. It's exciting to know that there are other options that you could turn to. And the great thing about doTERRA as well is, if you're interested, there's nothing to stop you starting and nothing to stop you stopping. You could always start it, have a go, and if it's not for you, walk away. But if you don't give it a try, you'll never know what the possibilities might be. So if you are interested, speak to the person who invited you on, and we'll be more than happy to let you know how it works, and take it from there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm really excited to say that Jude's friends live in Petersfield, so I can get a delivery of his food. I've just noticed. Yeah, her food, not his, sorry. Her food, which I'm really excited about. So who are your friends, Jude? I wonder if I know them. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to stop recording, actually. Stop recording.